Hello everyone, welcome to this session on strain energy methods. Till now in this course we have been looking into the problems of solid mechanics either from the stress point of view or from deformation or strain point of view. There is a third perspective which is from the energy angle. That is what we are going to see in this particular session. In this session we will be looking into two types of problems. One is the members which are subjected to axial load, and secondly members which are subjected to pure shear loading such as the bar under torsion. We will understand how to calculate the strain energy stored in these members, and we will illustrate the method by using numerical problems. So let's proceed first to understand what is strain energy. To understand the concept of strain energy, consider a bar as shown in the left hand side figure, which is having an cross sectional area A and length L. Assume that this bar is subject to a slowly increasing action load P. So P is the load which is slowly applied on this rod. As a result of this, the bar starts elongating, and the elongation of the bar with respect to the application of load is shown in the right hand side graph. So on the graph, the x-axis is the elongation of the bar, which is represented by x, and y-axis is the load. Now, as the bar elongates, since the load is getting displaced, there is some work which is done by this external load, and this work has to be stored somewhere. So this works get stored into the bar, and that is what we call as a strain energy. So if you imagine the material to be acting as a spring, when external force acts on this particular spring, the spring deforms, and the energy stored in this spring is what you can consider analogous to the strain energy stored in a body which is subjected to deformation. In order to calculate the value of the strain energy, you can simply calculate what is the work done by the external forces, which is very simple in case of the problem such as the one which we are discussing. We can multiply the force and the displacement it has undergone, and we can find out what is the work done by the external forces, and this is what would be stored in the deformed body. So that would be the strain energy of that particular body. So let's find out for this particular bar what is the amount of strain energy. So for this we will take help of the figure on the right hand side, which gives you the displacement and load displacement graph for this particular body. So consider an instant where the load acting on the bar is P, and this particular bar is subjected to an instantaneous stretch of dx. So that is what is represented by the dark strip which is shown on the graph. So at this instant the load is P, and the bar is subjected to stretch of dx. So at this instant the work done by the external force P will be given as P multiplied by dx. So the instantaneous work would be given as P multiplied by dx. And if you add up all such strips till the time the full extension of the bar has taken place, you will get the entire work done by the external force. So which, as can be seen from this graph, is nothing but the area below this particular curve. So when the body is stretching from its original position to displacement x1, the total work done by the external force would be given by the integral of p dx from x running from 0 to x1. So this right hand side of this equation is the work done by the external force while stretching the bar from 0 to x1. And this work done will be stored inside the body in the form of strain energy. So the strain energy expression would be given by the equation as integral P multiplied by dx. If the body is linear elastic, in that case your load displacement line will be a straight line. So your load displacement line would be simply limited to the straight line portion of this graph. So let's assume that the body has elongated by displacement x1, and at that instant the load is given as P1. So the work done during this process will be given as the area below this straight line curve, and that will be half multiplied by P1 into x1. So this is nothing but the strain energy for this particular case when a linear elastic body is subjected to axial load, and that is what has been mentioned in this particular formula. This concept of strain energy, what we discuss, will be specific to a particular body. So the strain energy calculated for this rod would be different than that for a rod of different diameter and different length. So to make it more material specific, a concept of what is known as strain energy density is brought in. So let's understand what is strain energy density. The strain energy density is defined as the strain energy per unit volume, which is denoted by small u. It will be nothing but the capital U divided by the volume of the body. In the previous slide, we have seen the expression for the strain energy. So it will be 1 by V into integral 0 to x1 P times dx. So that is what would be the expression for strain energy density. If I take the volume inside the integral and write this volume, since we know that volume equal to area multiplied by length for the simple body that we are considering. So we'll get here P divided by P into dx divided by A multiplied by L. If you look at this expression, this is nothing but the stress acting on the body, and so you have sigma x equal to P by A, and the axial strain is given as x by L. So this term dx by L is nothing but d epsilon x. So this particular expression could be written as sigma x multiplied by d epsilon x, and the limits of the integral will change from, instead of 0 to x1, they will become 0 to epsilon x1. So this particular entity is nothing but the area below the stress strain curve. So if you plot for this particular body the stress strain curve, so for example, if we assume the stress strain curve like this, till the point the strain has become epsilon x1, the area below this curve would be given by this integral. So this is nothing but integral sigma x into d epsilon x. So the strain energy density is nothing but the area below the stress strain curve of a body, and the since it is energy per unit volume, the unit of this entity will be joules per meter cube. Now let's calculate the strain energy density for linear elastic bodies, and which will be an expression which will be useful for us for the further discussion. So for linear elastic bodies, we know that the stress by strain will be equal to the Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity. So we know that particular expression. We'll use that for simplifying our expressions. Our expression is 0 to epsilon x sigma x d epsilon x. Using this expression, we can write the sigma x as E times epsilon x multiplied by d epsilon x, which is nothing but E multiplied by epsilon x square divided by 2, and the limit is up to epsilon x 1 square. Rather than writing this equation in terms of strain, it is conventionally written in terms of stress. So we can write this as E times sigma x by E the whole square divided by 2. So after simplification, we'll get it as sigma x square divided by 2e. So that is the expression for strain energy density that will be used for the calculation purpose. So what we have seen is the strain energy density, which is nothing but the strain energy per unit volume, which gives us information about the material behavior. The general expression for that is given by the expression the area below the stress strain curve, and for linear elastic material and with uniform stress. So we have derived the following equation for bodies which are subjected to uniform stress. For example, bar subjected to axial stress, where entire cross section has got uniform stress. In that case, the expression reduces to strain energy density equal to sigma 1 square divided by 2e. In case we want to find out what is the total energy content in the entire body, we'll be multiplying the strain energy density by the volume of the body. So we'll get the total strain energy content in a body. So for example, if I want to calculate the energy content in a bar which is subjected to stress which is sigma 1, it would be given by the expression sigma 1 square by 2e multiplied by volume, where volume is volume of this particular rod.